Whether you're a seasoned pro looking to sharpen your skills or someone who's just curious about what all the negotiation hype is about, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll have a whole new arsenal of tactics that will make you a force to be reckoned with in any conversation. And trust me, these aren't your typical win some, lose some strategies. We're talking about high-stakes, life or death negotiation techniques brought straight to your everyday life. You might be wondering, why should I listen to Chris Voss? Well, let me tell you, this guy isn't just any old negotiation guru. Chris Voss spent 24 years with the FBI, leading international kidnapping negotiations and dealing with some of the most dangerous criminals in the world. If he can talk down a hostage taker, just imagine what his strategies can do for you in a salary negotiation or while haggling at a flea market. And here's the kicker. These techniques aren't just effective, they're also backed by psychological research. That means they're not only going to get you better results, but they'll also help you understand human behavior in a way you never thought possible. So grab your notepad, get comfortable, and let's dive into the world of high-stakes negotiation made easy. Now you might be thinking, negotiation, isn't that just for lawyers and hostage negotiators? Well, guess what? Negotiation is everywhere. Whether you're haggling over the price of a car, trying to get your kids to do their homework, or just deciding what's for dinner, negotiation is a part of everyday life. And Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, is here to spill the beans on how to win every time. Imagine this. You're at a car dealership, and you're staring down the sales guy who's got a smile plastered on his face that screams, "I'm about to make a commission." Instead of feeling anxious or unsure, you remember a trick from Chris Voss's book. You ask a calibrated question like, "How am I supposed to do that?" The smile fades just a little as he realizes he's not dealing with an ordinary customer. That's the power of Voss's techniques, but it doesn't stop there. Think about those everyday battles at home. Getting your kids to do their homework can feel like negotiating with a tiny, very stubborn hostage. But with Voss's method of tactical empathy and calibrated questions, you might say, what's going to happen if we don't get this done? Suddenly, it's not just about you laying down the law. It's about them understanding the consequences and making the choice themselves. Even simple decisions like choosing a restaurant for dinner can benefit from these tactics. Instead of the usual back and forth that ends in someone begrudgingly agreeing, you could use labeling to smooth things out. It sounds like you're really craving sushi tonight. It's amazing how a little acknowledgement can shift the whole dynamic and make everyone feel heard and respected. By the end of this video, you'll see that negotiation isn't just about getting what you want. It's about understanding people, building relationships, and finding solutions that work for everyone involved. So, whether you're a CEO negotiating $1 million deal, a parent trying to wrangle your kids, or just someone who wants to improve their everyday interactions, this book is for you. So, let's dive into Voss's top techniques that are as thrilling as a blockbuster movie and as practical as a Swiss Army knife. Buckle up! First on our list is mirroring. This isn't just for your bathroom mirror selfies, folks. Mirroring is about repeating the last few words the other person said. It's like being a parrot, but cooler. For example, let's say you're in a business meeting and your colleague says, "I'm really concerned about the timeline for this project." You respond with, "Concerned about the timeline?" This simple act of mirroring makes your colleague feel heard and prompts them to elaborate on their concerns, giving you more information to work with. You might be thinking, isn't that a bit too simple? Well, simplicity is the beauty of it. Mirroring works because it taps into our innate desire to be understood. When someone hears their own words reflected back at them, it feels like a validation of their thoughts and feelings. It creates a connection and encourages them to open up more. Plus, it gives you a moment to think and strategize your next move. It's a psychological nudge that can shift the entire tone of the conversation. Mirroring is not just limited to business scenarios. Imagine you're on a first date, and your date says, "I've always wanted to travel to Japan." Instead of jumping in with your own travel stories, you mirror, "Travel to Japan?" This not only shows you're listening, but also invites them to share more about their dream destination. Who knows? This could lead to a deeper connection and a more engaging conversation. And here's a fun fact. Mirroring even works with kids. If your child says, "I don't want to go to bed," instead of immediately countering with reasons why they should, you mirror, "You don't want to go to bed." This often results in them explaining why, which can lead to a more productive and less confrontational discussion. It's like magic. Next up, we have labeling. No, not slapping a label on someone like they're a jar of pickles. Labeling is all about identifying and verbalizing the other person's emotions. For instance, let's say you're dealing with an angry customer. You might say, "It seems like you're really frustrated with this situation." Acknowledging their emotions can diffuse the tension faster than you can say customer satisfaction. Here's why labeling is so powerful. It shows empathy without necessarily agreeing with the other person. You're not saying they're right, you're just acknowledging their feelings. This can be incredibly disarming. The other person feels understood and validated, which can open the door to a more constructive conversation. In personal relationships, labeling can be a game changer. Let's say your partner comes home from work and starts venting about their day. Instead of trying to fix the problem or offering unsolicited advice, you might say, "It sounds like you had a really tough day." This simple act of labeling can make them feel supported and understood, fostering a deeper emotional connection. Labeling isn't just for diffusing negative emotions. It can also amplify positive ones. If someone is excitedly telling you about a recent achievement, you could say, "It sounds like you're really proud of what you accomplished." This not only shows that you're listening, but also encourages them to share more and feel even better about their achievement. In business, labeling can help you navigate tricky negotiations. If a client is hesitant about a proposal, you might say, "It sounds like you have some reservations about this plan." This can prompt them to share their concerns, giving you valuable insights into how to address them and move the negotiation forward. Now let's talk about tactical empathy. This is about understanding the other person's feelings and perspectives and using that to your advantage. It's like being Sherlock Holmes, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving conflicts. You say, "I can see why this is important to you." Instantly, you're building a bridge of trust. Tactical empathy goes beyond just acknowledging emotions. It's about truly understanding the underlying needs and desires driving those emotions. When you show someone that you get where they're coming from, it breaks down barriers and opens up lines of communication. It's not just about winning the negotiation. It's about creating a connection that can lead to a mutually beneficial outcome. Think about it in terms of a job interview. If the interviewer mentions that they're looking for someone who can handle a fast-paced environment, you might respond with, "It sounds like finding someone who can keep up with the demands of the job is really crucial for your team's success." This not only shows that you're listening, but also positions you as someone who understands their needs and can meet them. In personal relationships, tactical empathy can be a lifesaver. Imagine your partner is upset about something that happened at work. Instead of brushing it off or trying to solve the problem immediately, you say, "It sounds like this situation really got to you." This simple act of empathy can make them feel understood and supported, strengthening your bond. In customer service, tactical empathy can turn a negative experience into a positive one. If a customer is angry about a product issue, acknowledging their frustration with a statement like, "I can see why you're upset about this," can diffuse the situation and pave the way for a more constructive resolution. Here comes the F word, fair. Voss says using the word fair can be powerful. You might say, "I want to reach an agreement that's fair for both of us." It's like a magic word that makes people lower their defenses. But use it wisely, no fair overloading. Why is fair so magical? because fairness is a deeply ingrained value in human psychology. When someone hears the word fair, it triggers a sense of equity and justice. It assures them that you're not trying to take advantage or pull a fast one. This can be particularly useful in negotiations where trust and cooperation are crucial. Let's consider a salary negotiation. You might be nervous about asking for a higher salary, but by framing your request around fairness, you can shift the conversation. Instead of saying, "I need more money," you could say, "I'd like to discuss a compensation package that reflects my contributions and is fair to both the company and me." This reframing makes your request seem reasonable and justified, reducing the likelihood of a defensive reaction. In personal relationships, invoking fairness can help resolve conflicts. Suppose you're dividing household chores with your roommate. Rather than arguing about who should do what, you might say, "I want to make sure we have a fair distribution of chores that we're both happy with." This shows that you're interested in a balanced solution, which can lead to a more harmonious living situation. Even in sales, the concept of fairness can play a pivotal role. Imagine you're negotiating with a client who's hesitant about your pricing. By saying, "I believe this pricing structure is fair considering the value and services we provide," you anchor your position in fairness. This can make the client more receptive to your terms, as it frames the discussion in a context of mutual benefit. However, be cautious not to overuse or misuse the concept of fairness. If you cry fair too often, it can lose its impact and come across as manipulative. The key is to use it genuinely and sparingly, ensuring that when you do, it carries the intended weight and sincerity. And for the grand finale, let's sail into calibrated questions. These are open-ended questions that start with what or how. They keep the conversation going and make the other person feel like they're steering the ship. Calibrated questions are the Swiss Army knives of conversation. They're versatile, powerful, and incredibly effective. They guide the discussion without making the other person feel pressured or defensive. Instead of cornering someone with yes or no questions, you invite them to explore options and share their thoughts. For instance, instead of asking a direct question like, "Can you lower the price?" you could ask, "What can we do to make this price work for both of us?" This shifts the focus from a simple yes or no answer to a collaborative problem-solving approach. The other party feels involved in finding a solution, which can lead to more creative and agreeable outcomes. In the workplace, calibrated questions can help you navigate tricky team dynamics. If a project is falling behind, instead of demanding, "Why isn't this done yet?" you might ask, "What obstacles are we facing that are slowing down the project?" This not only provides you with valuable information, but also empowers your team to discuss challenges openly and collaboratively find solutions. In personal interactions, calibrated questions can deepen your connections. Imagine you're catching up with an old friend who seems distant. Instead of bluntly asking, "What's wrong?" you might say, "What's been on your mind lately?" This gentler approach encourages them to share without feeling interrogated. Even in parenting, calibrated questions can be a game changer. If your teenager is reluctant to talk about school, instead of pressing with, "Did you do your homework?" try asking, "What's your plan for tackling your homework tonight?" This not only prompts them to think about their schedule, but also shows that you respect their autonomy. The beauty of calibrated questions lies in their ability to foster open dialogue and mutual understanding. They help you gather more information, understand the other person's perspective, and collaboratively find solutions. Whether you're negotiating a business deal, resolving a conflict, or just having a meaningful conversation, calibrated questions are your secret weapon. So there you have it, Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference in a nutshell. These techniques aren't just for FBI negotiators, they're for anyone who wants to navigate life's negotiations with confidence and finesse. Think about how these techniques can transform your interactions. Instead of feeling anxious or unsure, you'll approach negotiations with confidence, knowing you have the skills to steer the conversation in a positive direction. Whether you're aiming to close a major business deal, resolve a personal conflict, or simply improve your communication skills, these strategies will serve you well. And here's the thing. Negotiation isn't about being aggressive or manipulative. It's about understanding people, building relationships, and finding common ground. Chris Voss's methods emphasize empathy, respect, and collaboration, making them not just effective but also ethical and human-centered. Grab your copy of Never Split the Difference by clicking on the link on the description box and purchase your own book. Then start negotiating like a pro. Remember, the best negotiators aren't born, they're made. And you, my friend, are on your way to becoming a negotiation ninja. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a tip that could change your life. Thanks for watching and happy negotiating.